This is Bumping Into Walls, a show about living with vision loss, the challenges, the successes, and the day-to-day walls we all bump into.
Welcome to Bumping Into Walls. I'm Jesse Tregarthen, and with me is Anthony Hodgetts. Hi, Anthony.
Hey, just so everyone knows, at time of recording, we are two hot dudes because it is very hot here in Calgary at the moment.
Yes, so for the people listening, this is being recorded at the very end of June in the middle of this historic heat wave. And I don't like to give facts about specific dates because of the way the show is, but just for the interest of I'm saying historic heat wave because a town in BC broke the Canadian all-time record temperature high of 45. They reached 46 degrees Celsius, and that is just absolute insanity.
Yes, that is very hot, and that's what we're thinking we'd bring to the table. How the heck do you keep cool in the heat?
So I thought that it would be a good idea to start by talking about our recording environments right now because they have slightly changed, and it could make a good introduction to how we're all feeling in this sweltering heat. So Anthony, why don't we start with your recording environment right now?
I am sitting in my front room at the house I live in with a fan going, which none of you can hear, but it keeps me cool. I am sitting here talking to you on an iPhone using FaceTime audio, which works great. And that is pretty much my recording setup. And Jesse is the tech wizard who makes it all happen, and he can explain his side.
Yeah, so there was some funky music there at the beginning. And that was because I am using a device called the PodTrack P4. This is a cool device that I can hook things up to, like a mic and an iPhone, and it allows me to record these things in multi-track, so that way we can edit them later and make good content. Now, of course, before I didn't have such equipment, and I was going into the station alone. But now I have the equipment, and so it's nice to be able to have the option of recording from home, as many other shows do.
Many other shows across the country do, yep.
The sound quality might be different. I'm not going to say bad, but different, because you're used to us coming from the awesome studios at CJSW. But hopefully it is still good.
And you're probably wondering where Marianne is. Marianne is under the weather at the moment, so we wish her a speedy recovery. This heat has thrown her for a massive loop, but she will be back as soon as possible. So we've got some great suggestions, and she came up with this suggestion about the heat, so how you get through it. So thank you very much, Marianne. That's great.
Yeah, and she is unfortunately, yes, in the very sweltering heat in her home right now. So that is unfortunate, and hopefully she can get better. So, Anthony, I thought that we could take the time to talk about what it is that we try to do to keep cool, with a bit of an emphasis, I guess, on technology, being anything from, high-tech stuff to something as low-tech as a freestanding fan. Like what do you try to do to keep cool?
At this point, I drink a lot of water. I don't normally wear a shirt, but because I'm in the front room at the moment, I put on a shirt because, well, you just don't know who can see through the window, so whatever.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. And sometimes, I don't have a fan upstairs, but we're going to put a fan up there. Where I'm living is going to put air conditioning in. I don't know how that's going to fly, but it will fly. Now, we have an air conditioner, but there was a remote for the thing, and I had it upstairs, and it hadn't been used in over a year at least. Well, the battery on said remote must have died because I couldn't turn it on. But then I went looking for a switch on said device. Now, I'm suspecting switch was probably some graphical thing which a blind person can't see. I don't know. I wasn't about to go looking around too closely, but yes, there are different ways of using air conditioners and heaters and things. I mean, I've seen where people have talking thermostats. I have friends that have them, and they work really well. I don't know. The other thing I do to keep cool is I take a good old cold sink of water, stick my hand in it as long as I can stand it, and that brings the temperature down. Cold water will do the same thing. And if you're really getting a jam, you get an old bandana, put cold water on it, shove it around your head after you wring it out, of course, and that will bring your temperature down as well. And if you have a screen, which we don't because it got broke, opening a window is good as long as a bird doesn't fly in your house, which hasn't happened yet. So we're hoping that doesn't happen. Our yard has been taken over by crows, so they make a
Well,
lot of racket.
well, there you go, Anthony. You should record those crows and find some way to incorporate it into bumping into walls, like the time
Okay,
I
there
got
you go.
stung by all those bees.
Yes, yes. Well, they don't always make noise because they don't have any babies anymore, so they are not making as much noise. Although when the landlord and her nieces go outside next couple of days, they may not like that. But
Hmm.
now I always wondered because I come from the era where there wasn't a lot of accessible tech. For example, for me, when I lived in my apartment, I had a thermostat, and the only way I could tell if it was too hot is if I turned it all the way up and then had to turn it kind of down and down and down because I had a little dot on the bottom which told me I had turned heat off, right? But now with all these great new technologies, I think even some of the fans and air conditioners are you can connect up to your iPhone. I'm not totally sure on that.
Yeah, so I had an inaccessible thermostat as well, and I got around that by just giving the dial a good old crank and hoping for the best.
That's all I did. Now,
um,
the only reason I put a dot on the bottom was so I'd know where off was.
yes,
Although it
that.
didn't really matter because it was hot water heating, so it was always on basically.
Hmm. Well, that is a good thing to have. Um,
Not when it's 30 outside.
yeah. I am fortunate to be living in a house currently that actually does have a talking thermostat. It's apparently a specialized product for the blind that wasn't cheap that my friend who I live with purchased from the States. So that's what we have to contend with, and it actually works pretty well. I guess it's just a shame that it's, I guess, potentially out of reach of people who don't have the money, or they might be living in a rented home and the landlord might not want them wiring it up,
Yep,
that sort of
those are
thing.
all fair.
So that can be really frustrating. It's handy because we have heat and AC over here, and the thermostat works well with both of those things, which is good because I don't actually know what we would do if it didn't. I just wish my friend would switch it over to Celsius because I'm not very good with Fahrenheit.
Me either. I'm still, well, 20 is hot, 30 is hotter.
Yes. Uh, um, but you are right. There are actually a lot of thermostats now that will connect up with your phone. Like if you have an iPhone, it'll work with HomeKit, which is kind of Apple's protocol for that. And you would, talk to Siri to, set thermostat to 23 degrees and all of that kind of stuff. But a lot of them work with the good old fashioned, and I don't want to say her name. So I'm the Alexa, which of course we talked about on our show at home with Google and Echo. Feel free to check that out.
Yeah.
Where you can simply tell it to set the temperature, and then that's cool because, think about it. If you're trying to save power, you might turn off the AC or set the temperature really high so it doesn't kick in much if you're going out. And then in the afternoon, you're coming back and it's sweltering hot. You can tell your phone to kick that sucker into high gear and come home to a nice, cool house. So that is the benefit of that, and that technology has come a long way. But it is frustrating that it can be prohibitive sometimes in terms of cost and in terms of not necessarily having the freedom to wire in your own smart thermostat. So your best bet is to hope that if you're renting like a new house, that they might have just decided to install a smart thermostat from the get-go, and then you have to hope it's one that has an accessible app.
Yeah, those are all little things that
Yeah,
you just have to
not
play
not
with. And
not trying to sound negative,
no,
but
just things to look out for.
it is great that the technology has come as far as it's come.
And you have to think that as more people start purchasing this, the prices will come down.
Yeah, I think that of course that can happen. You think back to how much it used to cost to buy like a computer or a cell phone, for what you got at the time. The prices were crazy high. I also understand that Dyson does a fan slash air purifier slash heater. And there was actually a podcast done by a blind gentleman called David Woodbridge about how to use that with the accessible app. And he's able to do everything, including check the quality of the air.
All right.
All like it tells him pretty much everything, and he has control over everything. He can set timers. It was pretty amazing, So again, a pretty expensive product, but
If it does the job, right?
at least you can buy it and it would work.
Yeah.
You're listening to Bumping in the Walls.
And of course, there are even water bottles that are accessible. Now, I haven't actually seen one, but apparently they do exist, where it will tell you how much water you've drank and how full it is. I've never actually seen one, but I've heard of them. I don't know how accessible they are, but I seem to have heard about it on a podcast for the visually impaired somewhere, but I can't remember where.
That would actually be cool, and I would totally get one. I hadn't actually heard that much about it. I knew that there was app-controlled mugs for your coffee and tea, but that's not really something we want to think about right now.
Maybe lemonade.
Yeah, lemonade.
And the colder you get,
a cold drink.
Yeah, cold is good.
Like the water that Anthony is diligently sipping over there.
Yeah, so you might hear an occasional click sound, or that's just my own water bottle, because if I leave it open and it spills, I'm in trouble.
Because it's good to drink the right amount of water, and even if you don't have an accessible water bottle, although I think that that's just the coolest way, you can get apps on your phone, I assume probably skills for your Echo or Google, although that doesn't really help you if you're out and about. And I know the Apple Watch, you can get apps, and I think it even might have a built-in thing where you can log your water. So even if you don't have a smart water bottle, you can put in, log every glass of water you have to keep track of whether you're getting the right amount of water.
And of course, the other thing that not everyone has air conditioning. So here in Calgary, at least, if you go on our transit service, whether you're using Access Calgary or not, sometimes you have no air conditioning. And if you're driving for a long period of time, and I have done this over the years when it's hot, not this hot, but hot enough, you get home and you're done. So always carry a bottle of water with you, like the one you can fill up, and then you just don't drink too much, because they don't make bathroom breaks. So all those things, and you should be great. I mean, what else would be really great is if, say, more places had, like, water fountains here are open too. So they've turned all the water fountains on, and the splash parks are going to be open as of now. So if you want to take your kid and go splash in the splash park, I guess you could do that too.
Yeah, I guess I just wish that it was easier to know where you might find water fountains.
Yeah, I wonder how, is there an app that does that? Like, I don't know. I mean, that's something I've never thought of, but I'll certainly, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe...
They don't make a noise. You can't go by them, and they don't go beep, beep.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe if they had, like, an app that you could track that kind of stuff, that would be cool, or...
Yeah?
Or something. It's hard to say. I don't know how many buildings I've wandered around, not been able to find the water fountain, and then when I finally find somebody to ask them, it's I somehow just missed it. It was right under my nose.
Oh.
But yes, that is cool, and of course, you can definitely take your kids out to the pool if you got kids, or even yourself. Get out to a splash park or a pool, or somewhere where you can get in some water and
Cool off.
cool down. And you might want to take Uber to one of those places, which is another nice way to get around in the summer. Because you might think that, on rainy days you might take Uber or a taxi, and on the nice days you would walk, but in plus 36-degree weather, you're probably wanting to be in the AC. So I know that's a thing that I use when I'm not using the paratransit access that Anthony was talking about, and that's a really nice accessible app for booking your trips as well. And the other cab companies, I think, have apps. I know that Checker has one. They all kind of came out with apps that did some of the similar things that Uber did after Uber did it.
Yep.
So that's, made life a bit easier. I can put my credit card in and have it automatically charge the credit card instead of fighting with the machine. And actually, I know Checker has accessible debit machines now. I don't know why every place in the world doesn't have accessible debit machines.
That's happening. I heard something a couple of weeks ago through the Canadian National Institute for the Blind. They're partnered with Moneris, and the new machine should be coming out within the next few months. And one of the features that was mentioned was if you hit a specific key, and I think it's number 5, but don't quote me, for a couple of seconds, the thing will start talking to you. Now, I guess you'd have to carry a pair of headphones with you, because I don't think you want everybody hearing all your personal details, but I don't know a lot about it. I just heard that it is going to happen soon.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Now, I don't know, because the ones in the cabs, it does speak out loud, because it's not giving your, it's not perfect. There are a couple parts where it doesn't talk, I assume for privacy reasons.
That's what I'm thinking.
But it is also kind of annoying, because it's like, enter your PIN, and it's like, okay, radio silence until my PIN's been entered.
Yep.
But it is a good thing, and, it's pretty easy to be acquainted with the number pad, so it doesn't have to read your PIN out to you. But they actually work pretty well. The only awkward thing is, it blaring out loud what tip you're giving the driver, but I mean, that's no more awkward than having to tell the driver to put in the tip amount that you choose.
Or, I don't know if this would work. I do this at Boston Pizza when we go out. I always carry an extra 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever bucks in my pocket in cash, and I just give it right to the server.
Yeah, I actually heard somewhere that is preferred. I don't know if that's
because if
the truth.
But we won't.
They get it right away instead of going into,
because it's got to go in the
being
kitchen and
held
get
up.
sent through, and everyone takes a piece out of it. So, but yeah, those are the options. I mean, I haven't been to a restaurant or to see people for a good little while right now, so
yeah,
it'll be weird going to see people again. But
I'll tell you, some things have changed. Number one is a lot of restaurants have now put QR codes in the middle of the table that you can scan, and it pulls up the menu, so they don't want to be bringing out paper menus for you and getting your hands all over them.
Makes
I guess, which in theory could work, because if they have an accessible menu and you get directed to their website, then that's great. Getting the QR code scanned, well, that's another thing that I guess, depending on your situation, could be easy or hard. But I know I was out at dinner on a patio a couple months ago, and it was really cold, and I was trying to reach to the middle of the table and trying to get a capture of the QR code, and then you've got like these lights, and I think there might have been a bit of sun or something, and it creates glare, and then it doesn't work, and I just had to ask the waitress to read stuff to me at the end. Anyways, so in theory, it's a good idea. In practice, I guess we'll see.
We'll see what happens. I mean, and then that's the nice thing. And by the way, in case people don't know this, movie theaters are now open here in Calgary as of, they're open, or they will open as of a couple of days from now. And so if you want to beat the heat, you do that or go to a mall. I'm not a big mall fan, but hey, it keeps you cool, right?
Yeah, the theaters are pretty nicely air conditioned. Now, since this show is kind of a mashup of tech and also like summer stuff, it's a good idea to mention that, if you know of a blind person or you're a blind person who is going to the theater, remember that a lot of the theaters have little boxes you can get that come with a headset, and you can listen to it and get an audio description track for the movie.
Bring your own headset just in case, because you just never know, right? You don't know who wore it last. So
with COVID, actually, they probably do make you bring your own. Go
sure,
buy
earbuds
some.
Work the best.
Go buy some 3.5 millimeter headphone.
Yeah,
headsets.
They're great when they work.
Yeah, but that can be a great thing to do. You might run into trouble sometimes, like asking for it and stuff like that, but if you do your research and you know that the theater chain carries it, then you can be like, look, you guys do have it. Please figure it out.
Figure out how this works. And sometimes what'll happen is you'll get a box, and most people will set it up. But there are times where sometimes the thing doesn't work until the start of the actual show. So just be aware that could happen. Yeah. Make sure it's turned on when you leave the kiosk, and it should theoretically, once you know where the volume switch is, because who knows, sometimes that thing gets set to some weird volume settings and takes your head apart. But, those are all things, and it's a really great tool. It's a computerized voice that talks to you. Gets the job done. Now, some people don't like it in our community, but I'm thinking, hey, it gets the job done. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, and some of the movies, I think, have human narrators, or at least some of the ones I've been to. So it depends on the movie. And I would rather have that than have no description at all. Now, they do also have the other setting for this box that you can get is if you struggle with hearing, you can get one that basically puts the movie in a pair of headphones for you, and you can turn that up as loud as you might need to amplify it. And I do also believe that they have a little screen thing that goes in the cup holder. That will give you captions or some,
it'll give you captions.
For
closed captioning.
Yeah, so there are ways to enjoy a movie if you can't necessarily go and see it and hear it the way that most people are. And again, a lot of these theaters, I don't know about the website accessibility or whatever, but a lot of them you can get tickets in advance, and you look up show times on the internet, and if you're a scene member, if you go to those theaters, the Scotiabank ones, I guess.
Yep.
Then it used to be Cineplex.
But I didn't even realize it had a name change. Shows what I've been doing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Scotiabank now. But one of the great things about the Scene app is that it can actually be pretty accessible. So if you don't have a Scene card, like a physical card, they can scan your phone to redeem your points or to give you points. And the nice thing about the app is it'll actually show you, you can check out all of the places that you get discounts and rewards, and it's not just at the movies. I was surprised, restaurants like Harvey's and stuff like that you can use your points at. You can earn points there, but also use them. I've actually I saved up a lot of points when I was younger because I didn't go to the movies lots, but I had a Scotiabank debit card, and you earn points when you spend with the Scotiabank debit card that I had. And I somehow ended up with 8,000 points, and every 1,000 points equates to $10 off your meal at Montana's. So I had an $80 meal that I didn't eat by myself, but I was out with somebody, and it was pretty awesome because it was pretty much a free meal because I was able to pay for it just in points. All right, well, Anthony, I think that it's been great to sit down in our home environments, relaxed, and have a nice chat on the new pod track. So I'm going to give Anthony a round of applause for coming here.
I'm here all week.
He's so funny.
See you guys next month.
All right, see you guys. There we go. Hello, everybody. This is Jesse Tregarthen from Bumping Into Walls, and I'm here today with my son, Obsidian.
Hello. I'm here with my daddy, and I'm going to do a radio show. And then we're going to have supper. I'm having fries and chicken nuggets.
So, Obsidian, what do you like to do during the summer?
Sorry. Bonking heads and watching TV.
Okay, what else do you like to do outside?
Go on the water slide and water and pool and sprinkler.
Water slide in the pool and the sprinkler. What did you start doing today? Where did you go for the first time today?
I don't know. Summer program.
So what are you excited to do at summer program? What are the things you want to do at summer program?
Watch TV.
What else?
Play on the water slide.
That sounds like it would be fun. Mm-hmm. Have you ever gone camping in the summer before?
No. Actually, at school, I watched a movie called Luca.
Have you ever gone camping before?
I don't know how much times I've gone.
You went 2 times.
What? 165 times? 1, 2.
What kind of things did you do at camp? Do you remember?
We went with Grandpa Al forever.
But what did you do there?
I didn't go anywhere, but I saw the horses and I ate supper. We went in, we slept in a cabin.
Wow.
I'm closer to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Do you like to go to the river sometimes?
Well, when we're going to the, we saw water going up and going to the river.
What do you want to say to the people about summer? Do you want to tell them to be careful in the heat?
Be careful in the heat and be careful out for bad guys.
Oh, okay. Be careful for bad guys. Now, one more fun thing for Obsidian to do.
What?
Which is, see these 4 buttons?
Mm-hmm.
Try pressing one of them.
That one. It's going.
Try another one.
It's like music.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Bumping Into Walls. Bumping Into Walls is produced, edited, and co-hosted by Anthony Hodgetts, Jesse Tregarthen, and Marianne Rochon. Find us on the CJSW webpage to listen to more of our past shows, or look for us wherever you find your podcasts. Thanks for listening.